What's up, gamers? Today we're doing a fun boxing and review of one of Anbernic's higher end systems, the RG476H. Let's get into it. 476H is one of those systems that honestly looks gorgeous at first glance and you're kind of like, wow. But then you look at the specs and it's built on older tech that we kind of thought Anbernic had moved on from. So to be perfectly honest, I'm really conflicted about how much I'm going to like this one. Even though the T820 chip is definitely capable of most GameCube and PS2 emulation, I'm just kind of sad to see them take one step forward and two steps back, if that makes sense. In the box, you do have a manual and a charging cable over here, and that's about it. This is the first time I've seen Anbernic put something in a plastic wrap like this on the inside of the box, though, so that's kind of interesting to see. It also has a nice weight to it. It's heavier than I thought, but there it is, and you can see just how glossy the front of it is. I mean, that is a very slick looking device. The sticks have a nice pivot to them. They are definitely an upgrade over the Joy-Con style sticks, although I wouldn't say that they are full size either. They're somewhere in between, but they do feel nice and have a solid click to them. The D-pad has kind of a soft touch to it, but not a mushy touch necessarily. I think I could be happy with the D-pad there, and the face buttons actually feel pretty much exactly like I would want them to feel. The travel distance is just right, the resistance is just right. They don't depress past the surface of the device. They still stick above the device pretty high after you've depressed them, but I really like the way they feel. On the back, you do have some nice analog triggers that have a pretty good amount of distance there, and some clicky bumper buttons here on top. I know a lot of people will be very excited to see the D-pad and the face buttons being in line with one another across the device for retro gaming especially. A lot of people prefer to have this kind of setup, but then there's going to be people who want to play the GameCube on here and they're going to wish that these were asymmetrical sticks. It kind of just is what it is, and you can't make everybody happy, and this is the design choice they went for with this device. There's also a pinhole microphone right there. You have your Anbernic button, your home button, and your start and select over here at the bottom. Going around the device, we have an SD card slot down here on the bottom, a USB-C port, a headphone jack, two downward firing stereo speakers. There's actually nothing on the sides, and then you have your power and your volume rocker here on the top, as well as an LED indicator for power. There's an air intake here on the back and the exhaust port here on the top. Speaking of this SD card slot, I'm just noticing that there is no SD card in this device. Turning on the device, we have some nice RGB lighting around the sticks, and the screen looks great. I mean, the colors are great. The text is really sharp, easy to read. While we wait for this to initiate, I guess I will go ahead and go over some specs with you. This is a 4.7-inch LTPS in-cell display. It has OCA full lamination, and it is a multi-touch display coming in at 1280 by 960 resolution. It has a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz. It's packing a Unisoc T820 processor. This is a 6nm processor that has 8 cores. It has a quad-core Mali G57 GPU, 8GB of LPDDR4X RAM, 128GB of internal storage. It runs on Android 13. It has both 2.4 and 5 GHz built-in Wi-Fi, as well as Bluetooth 5.0. It supports over 30 kinds of emulators, as well as native Android apps. It also has Anbernic's built-in AI feature, which gives you one-click game guides, real-time translation, and intelligent dialogue. High-fidelity stereo speakers, support for TF card expansion up to 2 TB, a 5000 mAh lithium battery for up to 6 hours of battery life, large angle 3D Hall joysticks, a 6-axis gyro sensor, high-speed fan, Hall triggers. The USB Type-C supports 1080p DisplayPort out. It has Type-C charging as well, and it weighs 0.29 kilograms. Let's take a look here. Again, the colors are very vibrant. It's always so hard to record off screen like this because the colors look much better in person than they do off of the camera. I'm going to try out the gamepad tester here because I did get halfway through my RG557 review only to find out that the R1 button didn't work. I had a faulty button but it looks like everything here is working quite well. The screen feels really good. Your finger just glides across here. This really does feel like a very high quality device. I'm not upset about the feel of it at all. This front glossy material it looks and feels amazing, but even the back plastic, it's not as ergonomic as some of their other offerings like the 406H in my opinion, but it does feel really good to hold, despite there not being ergonomic bump outs here on the back. And I think that's due to the fact that it is just a little bit wider, and it is still pretty thick, and it has a substantial weight in your hand. I don't know, it's just nice to hold. And you can see all the emulators that they have already preloaded on the device here. Everything from Drastic for the DS to the Dolphin emulator for your GameCube and Wii games. Of course, if you want to download your own, you can do that right on the Google Play Store. And if you want to load in Anbernic's stock front end, you just hold down the Anbernic button here in the left corner, and it does take you right over to their front end launcher. Now, the system that I purchased did not come with any games, and so I've been really quickly loading some games on here, and you can see just from a few screen presses that it really does pick up the fingerprints, so you will probably want to keep a cleaning cloth handy so that you can wipe that down every so often. But to load your own ROMs on here, I'll just show you how to do that really quickly. Again, you can do all this from here, but I'm going to use the Anbernic front end because I think that's what a lot of people will end up using. So you long press this, you'll switch over to the emulator, and you select which one you want to load stuff onto. Then you hit select, then you go to ROM settings, and you pick the storage where you put your ROMs. For me, it's the untitled SD card, and then I scrolled down to the folder that I made for GameCube. I selected that with the checkbox, hit select, start searching for games, then I go back to emulator settings, and I hit save success, hit B to back out, and your ROMs will be right there. It really doesn't take very long, and it's pretty simple to do. In fact, the thing that probably takes the longest is curating your own library and loading the ROMs onto an SD card, which for those larger file sizes of the GameCube and PS2, it does take a longer time to load onto the SD card from your computer. But now that that's done, we should be able to jump into a game here and check it out. Now, like I said at the beginning, this is going to struggle to run some GameCube and some PS2, and you can tell here in the upper corner that we're running around 85, 95, right now 105%, but it's not extremely consistent here on 007 Nightfire, and I am hearing the occasional audio stutter, but the picture looks great and the colors look great, and so far I wouldn't say this is an unplayable experience by any means. In fact, it's performing pretty well. I tell you, I really loved this game back in the day. Well, let's check out some PSP emulation, and I want to try to run this at 4x and see what kind of performance we get here. And you can see here with Ghost of Sparta at 1080p, we're getting almost a full 60 frames per second, and it honestly looks quite stunning. But let's say I want to try to smooth that out. I'm just going to hit the home button, go to settings, and let's just drop it down to 3x. You can see here with all the water effects and things, now at 3x I'm getting a solid 60 frames per second, and still looks absolutely stunning on this display. Oh my. And I don't even mind on this 4.7 inch screen that it's in 16:9. I think it still gives you plenty of space here to see exactly what's going on. And while I'm talking about the resolution, that GameCube was actually running at 1.5x. So if it were running at 1, I think we would definitely be getting a solid 60 frames per second out of Nightfire. But that's just kind of how it is with the T820. You're not going to get a lot of upscaling on your upper end systems. You're going to be running those realistically at full speed. You're going to need to be at 1x or maybe 1.5x. But I don't feel like fighting this guy, so let's try something else. What about something a little more classic like Castlevania on the GBA? BKG. Not only does this look great, but having the D-pad right next to the face buttons, or across from them rather, feels really good. It's very responsive. Honestly, no complaints there whatsoever. I'm really impressed with how good the D-pad feels. I usually really like Anbernic's D-pads, and this is no exception to that rule. Cloth tunic. Defense up. Yes, let's go. Alright. You can slay zombies all day long with this thing, man. While we're here, let's take a listen to the speakers real quick. And real quick, I want to try a little PS2 emulation. I'm going to try running this at 2x just to see what happens. And we'll probably scale it back down to 1.5 or 1. Honestly, you can see some stuttering here, but it's not terrible, not as bad as I thought it would be. I think even at 2x you have a playable experience here on the PS2, at least with some games. Again, it's going to be a little bit hit and miss, but some games will be playable like that. And of course will look better if they run at 2x. This is a total side note, but something I never hear people say when they do these reviews is how hard it is to play while looking at your camera screen. And I end up like with the game down here or something like this. So if I'm ever off center, just know that's partly why. But there you have it. That's the RG476H, a beautiful device, definitely capable of running GameCube, some Wii, PlayStation 2, PSP, Nintendo DS. It's comfortable to hold, and even after playing for all this time, 101.6 Fahrenheit. What about on the back? Not even that hot. What about right here on the exhaust port? Also not that hot. Right here on the top, also not very hot. 94 degrees Fahrenheit, and the fan hasn't even kicked on that much. So I'll have some affiliate links in the description below. Those don't cost you any extra, but they do help support the channel. I think this is a really well-built system. It's actually more comfortable to hold than a Nintendo Switch, I think, because it's a little thicker than a Switch. Controls feel premium, and the emulation is good. And with that full glossy top, you're sure to have some people do a double take and even ask, hey, what is that? But thanks for liking, subscribing, and sharing with a friend. Stay kind and encouraging out there, and I'll catch you on the flippity flip.